Recommendation 3.3 was on education awareness and public discourse. We've allocated $4 million to expand the social cohesion work of Together for Humanity in schools. Recommendation 3.5 was the enhanced protection of Jewish communities through physical security measures, and I've commented on the further extension of that we are putting in place. Recommendation 3.9 was reviewing and strengthening migration and citizenship matters, and the Department of Home Affairs is undertaking a review of relevant training packages to strengthen modules on assessing whether an applicant's conduct involves inciting or promoting hatred and ensuring coverage of vilifying behaviour directed at any group. Recommendation 3.12 was support for Jewish communities' cultural, social and religious life while ensuring safety and security. We've committed grant funding, which we announced in January, including $8.5 million to upgrade the Sydney Jewish Museum, 4.4 for the National Holocaust Education Centre in Canberra, an additional $2 million to the Holocaust Institute of Western Australia, and we committed $18 million to the Jewish Arts Quarter in Melbourne. We'll continue to work at the levels with the Envoy, including the number of the recommendations, of course, for state governments to implement as well. Paul?
Why did ASIO's interest in the ACRAM not raise red flags that would prompt a re-evaluation of the father's licence to have 6 guns? And when you talk about introducing more checks and balances, clearly in that situation, would you say that the gun licence should be revoked?
Well, what's important is that the authorities be enabled to do their work. That's what we have done. I've reported to you accurately ASIO's advice, including the timelines, which were done in 2019. The assessment was made because of the son's associations that he had at that time, and the investigation went for a period of 6 months.
They closed the file, they didn't tell anyone, they didn't ask about
what are
guns.
the associations of concern? Who is the association?
Well, that's a question with respect to for the ASIO Director General, but it was people he was associated with rather than things that he himself had done.
ASIO closed the file,
Hang on.
tell anyone else.
Hang on, one at a time, please.
Can we hear from Home Affairs Minister
Sure.
that you're able to expand on those associations?
Well, no, it's the exact same answer that the Prime Minister just gave, that the assessment of ASIO was with respect to his associations rather than at that point there being a personal motivation from him.
ASIO closed the file and didn't tell
No, you're making a whole lot of extra assumptions. We've given you the information, and that's what we've given you. ASIO makes decisions as to what could be provided. We provided that with you.
But should they have told police so that someone could investigate whether a close relative of his was licensed to have firearms? Did they tell anyone else?
I've got full support for our security agencies, and part of making sure that they can do their job is making sure that information is brought out in the way in which we are doing it right now.
Are his other family
We got-
members being investigated?
just-
Are his other family members being investigated?
I beg your pardon?
Are there other family members being investigated? Do you have any concerns about the other family members?
I have full support for our security agencies, and I'm authorised to give you the information which I have given you.
And you would understand this is an ongoing investigation, and therefore we are not in a position to compromise that ongoing investigation. We have gone through the committees what we are able to tell you. We're providing as much information as possible.
Prime Minister, has Australia gotten complacent on gun control since Port Arthur? And in terms of the gun control ideas that you'll be bringing to National Cabinet, what is within your power to do, and what do you need from the states?
Well, some laws are Commonwealth and some are implemented by the states. What we want to do is to make sure that we're all completely on the same page. That is one of the reasons why I'm convening the National Cabinet today as a matter of urgency. We will then task work to be done. As Premier Minns has said, he will task work in New South Wales. We want to make sure, though, that there's greater uniformity in these issues. One of the things that we have done, for example, is to provide substantial amount of funding support so that the issues that arose out of the Queensland incident, where you had a terrorist incident that resulted in the death of Queensland police officers, that information wasn't transferred across state boundaries. Now that's something that we addressed at that time. We've provided funding for that, but we'll continue to work through those issues. Yeah.
Can the National Firearms Register move faster? And does Australia need a new firearms by that program?
Well, that's precisely what we're doing. Before us, there wasn't a National Firearms Register. That's the point. That's one of the major reforms that we're doing, and we will do it as soon as we can. In some cases, some state jurisdictions still had paper identification. That was what we were dealing with. Now, we are responding in a really practical way. If there's more that can be done, we will do it. We will do whatever is necessary. Yep. That's right.
Detailed a bunch of progress there on anti-Semitism, but speaking to members of the community last night, today, there's a sense of extreme bitterness that this was inevitable and that they weren't listened to. I'd like you to respond to that, and this idea that it's been allowed to fester. What can we do now that this has happened to stamp that out and make sure that our community feels safe?
Well, the community are going through a terrible time. This is an incident that is aimed at, by definition, terrorism is aimed at creating fear in the community. You have these two individuals who have engaged in a horrific act, one that is completely out of place with the way that Australia functions as a society. And it contrasts with the actions of police who rushed towards Bondi, the actions of Ahmed, who took the gun off that perpetrator at great risk to himself and suffered serious injury as a result of that, and is currently going through operation today in hospital. At the best of times, what we see is Australians coming together. And what I want is for Australians to come together, for this to be reinforcing the need for us to promote national unity. And that is critical. There is no place in Australia for anti-Semitism. There is no place for hatred, and people who were exercising their right to express their faith through Hanukkah had every right to expect that they could do that in peace and with a joyful celebration, which is what it's aimed at. Thank you very much.
Can you reconcile how much more